What's up, future nurses? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're hitting the books hard with a rapid-fire session. We're going to be covering some must-know anatomy and physiology, the kind of stuff that'll have you feeling confident and prepared for your exams. Let's get started. All right, first up, let's talk about the pump, the engine room, the mighty heart. What are the four chambers that make this incredible organ tick? Think about it for a second. You got it. The right atrium, the right ventricle, the left atrium, and the left ventricle. Remember, blood flows in a specific direction through these chambers, so make sure you got that down pat. Next up, let's take a deep breath and dive into the respiratory system. What's the powerhouse muscle that drives our breathing? It's not just your lungs doing all the work, right? That's right, it's the diaphragm. This dome-shaped muscle contracts and relaxes, pulling air in and pushing it out, keeping us alive and kicking. Now, let's talk about where our food goes on its journey through the body. The digestive system is a long and winding road, but where does most of the good stuff, the nutrients, actually get absorbed? It's not just about breaking down food. It's about getting those essential building blocks into our system. You got it. It's the small intestine. This is where the magic happens, folks. Time to get those neurons firing. The nervous system is the body's control center, a complex network of signals and responses. What are the two main divisions that make up this intricate system? We've got the central nervous system, the brain and the spinal cord, the command center. And then we have the peripheral nervous system, all those nerves branching out, carrying messages to and from the periphery. Now let's talk hormones. The endocrine system is all about chemical messengers, regulating everything from growth to metabolism. But there's one gland that's often called the master gland because it controls so many others. Do you know what it is? It's the pituitary gland. This tiny powerhouse secretes hormones that influence a wide range of bodily functions. Let's get down to the bone, literally. Our skeletal system provides support, protection, and allows for movement. But did you know there are different types of bone cells, each with its own job to do? We've got osteoblasts, the builders, laying down new bone tissue. Then there are osteoclasts, the destroyers, breaking down old bone. And finally we have osteocytes, the maintainers, keeping everything in tip-top shape. Muscular system, get ready to flex those mental muscles. We're talking about the muscular system, but it's not just about biceps and quads. There are actually three types of muscle tissue in the body. We've got skeletal muscle, the kind we control voluntarily to move our bones. Then there's cardiac muscle, found only in the heart, working tirelessly to keep the blood pumping. And finally, we have smooth muscle, found in the walls of organs, controlling involuntary movements like digestion. Renal system. Time to filter out the waste. The renal system, specifically the kidneys, play a vital role in removing waste products from the blood. But what's the functional unit of the kidney? The tiny structure where all the filtration magic happens. It's the nephron. These microscopic filters are essential for maintaining fluid and electrolyte balance. Blood components. Let's talk about the river of life, blood. It's more than just a red fluid. What are the four main components that make up this vital life force? We've got red blood cells carrying oxygen throughout the body. Then there are white blood cells, our immune system warriors, fighting off infection. And don't forget about platelets, those tiny cell fragments crucial for clotting. And finally, we have plasma, the liquid component that carries all these cells and other important substances. Speaking of fighting off infection, let's talk about the immune system, our body's defense force. There are different types of white blood cells, each with its own specialty. But which type is responsible for producing antibodies, those targeted weapons against invaders? It's the B lymphocytes, also known as B cells. These cells are key players in our adaptive immunity. Time to cover up. We're talking about the integumentary system, our skin. It's our first line of defense against the outside world. But what's the outermost layer of the skin called? The one we see and touch every day. It's the epidermis. This protective layer is constantly renewing itself, shedding old cells and replacing them with new ones. Now let's focus on our senses, starting with sight. The eye is a complex organ, but what part of the eye is responsible for focusing light onto the retina, allowing us to see clearly? It's the lens. This transparent structure can adjust its shape to focus on objects at varying distances. Let's talk about the reproductive system, the system responsible for creating life. In females, what hormone triggers ovulation? The release of an egg from the ovary. It's luteinizing hormone, also known as LH. This hormone surge is crucial for the possibility of fertilization. Now let's get a little more technical. Maintaining the right pH balance in our bodies is crucial for proper function. What is the normal pH range of human blood? It's a tight range, folks, between 7.35 and 7.45. Even slight deviations from this range can have serious consequences. Speaking of balance, let's talk electrolytes. These charged minerals are essential for a wide range of bodily functions. What is the most abundant intracellular cation, meaning it's found inside our cells? It's potassium, also known as K+. This electrolyte plays a vital role in nerve function and muscle contraction. Staying hydrated is crucial, but our bodies have intricate mechanisms for regulating fluid balance. What hormone helps regulate water retention by the kidneys, preventing us from becoming dehydrated? It's antidiuretic hormone, also known as ADH. This hormone tells our kidneys to hold on to water when needed. Let's talk about blood flow. Hemodynamics is the study of how blood moves through our circulatory system. What's the term for the force blood exerts against vessel walls? A key indicator of cardiovascular health. It's blood pressure. This pressure is essential for pushing blood throughout our bodies. Cell structure. Time to zoom in on the building blocks of life cells. Each cell is like a tiny city with different organelles performing specific functions. What organelle is often called the powerhouse of the cell because it's responsible for producing energy? It's the mitochondria. These bean-shaped organelles are essential for cellular respiration. Autonomic nervous system. Let's revisit the nervous system, specifically the autonomic nervous system, the part that controls involuntary functions. What are the two divisions of the autonomic nervous system, often working in opposition to each other? We've got the sympathetic nervous system responsible for the fight or flight response, and then we have the parasympathetic nervous system responsible for the rest and digest response. Homeostasis. Finally, let's talk about the big picture homeostasis. What is this fundamental concept in physiology? It's the body's ability to maintain a stable internal environment despite external changes. Think of it like a balancing act, constantly making adjustments to keep everything running smoothly. Study hard, future nurses. And that's a wrap on our anatomy and physiology. Thanks for studying with me today. I hope this information helped you ace your exams and feel confident in your knowledge. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more study tips and resources. Keep up the hard work, future nurses, and see you in the next video.